Hey assholes, welcome to the Patriarchal Bastards Podcast, episode 1. America made great again. Because, as you know, as of last night, or this morning, I guess, Trump is now the fucking president because Democrats fucked up.
Mega,
Um,
mega, woo!
this is the Patriarchy, and I am here with Scumbag from Scumbag Entertainment.
Hello,
And
I'm the premier scumbag. You can't be more scumbag than me. Don't even try.
no, I've never met a bigger piece of shit in my life. If I stepped in shit and there was gum in that shit, he would still be worse than it.
Yep, that's me.
I can't get it off in the grass. I can't rub it off inside. I can't wash it off. It's just a sticky, gooey thing. Um, this podcast essentially, because I know I just got a lot of new subscribers from the Smuggly Puff video and a couple other things. So I know a lot of you maybe don't even know the full extent of my channel's content or what this is, but basically this is going to be a politically incorrect podcast in a sense, an anti-media, anti-establishment type of podcast. We're going to go against the norm here as much as possible and basically make fun of the SJWs, the regressive leftists, and we're gonna give the most unbiased opinion we can, I guess, because I'm not really here to push an agenda on anyone. I just want to tell jokes.
Yeah, no one's gonna be safe on this podcast. I think, especially SJWs. This is an
Yeah,
unsafe zone.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, if you're feminist, you're in that community, you consider the white privilege thing an issue, the wage gap, the pink tax, you probably aren't gonna like listening to this podcast. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But watch it
Like,
anyway. I mean, you might just love it. You
we should
might
have called it the safe space.
safe space trick 'em into
Yeah.
watching it. Hell yeah,
Yeah, they're like, it's safe here, and then as soon as they in, and we're like, the
sup
N word.
assholes.
Yeah, no, that's. I always start with "What's up, assholes" and go fuck yourselves because I don't want my audience to think I actually like them.
And I'm bigger scumbag. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear to them because it's like, hey, listen, I know you guys think that like, when I reply to your comments and I like your stuff and I talk to you that I care, and it's like I do, but there's only to a
But
point.
but but don't take yourself so seriously, right?
Yeah, well, they're not paying my rent right now. I'll put it that way. If they start paying my rent, then yeah, I'll be the most loving
You'll get
guy
down,
to my
you'll get down on your hands and knees and get a little brown nose. You know what I'm saying?
man. I will be like Leafy and upload a video 8 times a day, and just literally, just do so much work. I mean, but yeah, right now it's like, hey, this is cool, this following, but yeah, I don't want them to watch my videos and think at the end that like, oh, he's on my side because I'm not on anyone's side. I'm on my side.
On your
Uh,
side, I can respect that.
Well, I don't want. A lot of people have been putting in the comments on some of the videos. A lot. There was like 100 comments on the one, and some people were trying to say they like that I didn't take a stance on certain issues, and I don't think they realize the reason I didn't take stances on some of those issues is just because I just don't have interest about talking about them. It's not that I don't have an opinion on them. It's just that opinion's not important to the video that is being made.
Yeah.
Um, and they don't realize that they think every video has to cover. It's like, well, hey, if I'm in a good mood that day, I'll tell you what, the video's probably going to be me in a good mood. If I'm in a bad mood that day, the video's probably going to be a little more angry than usual. I can't deny that. That's how it. I mean, I don't know if you ever have that, but my mood certainly affects uh, the outcome. Even if it's indirectly, I know that whatever my mindset is that day, it's going to affect the video on some level
Well,
because
yeah, I can see that, but half the time if I'm not in the mood to make a video, it doesn't get made. All right,
yeah.
even if I really want to make it, I can't force it. I have to be in that right mindset, that creative mindset, to sit down, record a video, try and be funny. It just doesn't. I can't just do it.
Yeah, I think I can just do it, but I'm not saying that as like because that does it does suck because I do it so much sometimes I wish I wish some videos were like equal to other ones, but that's what happens when you do so many, you kind of lose momentum with a couple. There was a period there I made a few videos that I liked them, but it's like they weren't getting the hits I wanted or they weren't getting the attention I wanted.
It could just be like Colossal and just upload never.
Yeah, one video every 4 months and then talk to a pedophile.
then
I mean,
talk,
that's a pretty.
then talk to a fucking rat. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good play. That interview was fucking nuts. That was like an episode of Law and Order.
I still haven't watched it yet. I need to
Dude,
watch it. So don't
it's
spoil
tough
it
to
for me.
listen to. I'm not. It's just so fucking
His
awkward.
video on Line Maker in general was tough to watch because it's just the guy is so fucking cringy.
You have no idea. Like it's like a 2 hour interview and it's a webcam interview in Line Maker. It's just so hard to. It's like, oh my god, this is. It's so dark. I mean, it's so dark. I can't. It's like a fucking episode of Black Mirror or something. It's just horrifying.
Um,
Uh.
but we should get on our topics though, shouldn't we? We rambling.
Oh
Here,
yeah.
fucking
Well, I
dated.
just. Well, yeah. Well, hey, podcasts are built on rambling. I mean,
Pretty
really.
much, yeah.
I'm excited about doing this podcast because my main thing is we've been some people don't know because we don't have a lot of history set up here, but I started doing the patriarchy thing like 3 months ago, and then I met Scumbag through some videos and Reddit, and then we started talking, and then we started talking and talking. And I was like, we need to do a fucking podcast where we talk about this shit. And so that's what a lot of this is. This is mainly the stuff that maybe we don't always want to make videos on, or we can't fit enough stuff into the videos.
Yeah.
So with the podcast, we can just kind of talk about whatever we want. We don't have any limitations to. But we can talk about whatever you want if there's something you want to talk about. Because
Well, besides the election, I think we wanted to discuss the Lil Wayne or Wheezy thing. I don't listen to his music. I don't know his actual nickname, but
do you want to set that one up? Do you want to say what happened?
I mean, I haven't watched his interview with it, but I do know that he was interviewed by I think ABC News, and Lil Wayne said he doesn't support Black Lives Matter. And
yeah.
Everybody flipped their shit.
Well, the history of it is he was in an interview way back in the day where they were trying to pressure him into like agreeing with Black Lives Matter and telling him if he's ever experienced racism, and he's like, "Nah, man, I never dealt with racism." And they keep berating him about it, and then he won't give in. They called it like I remember there was a lot of videos about it, like they try to race bait Lil Wayne, and then they had the recent interview where they criticized him for that. It was like a follow up, and his whole thing was like, "I'm a rich motherfucker. If that doesn't show you Black Lives Matter, I don't know what the fuck does." And then he said, "My life does matter, especially to my bitches."
Of course.
Which I think is I think if he would have run with Trump, that would have been the best. It's just double bow. I mean, it would the wheeze and Trump.
You can't stump the Trump and the wheeze, right? If you want bitches, vote for us.
Well, I think we agreed on this inherently in the sense that we're both tired of the Black Lives Matter thing, the liberal thing, not never classic liberalism, but these regressive leftists.
Well, like I was telling you before we recorded, these people aren't liberals. These people wouldn't know liberalism if it bit them in the ass, right? These people want to be open and caring. They want to sound like they're not racist or sexist or whatever ish they want to do in there, but they don't actually know the history of it. They don't know liberalism and what it's really about, right? Liberalism is about individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about individuals, and there is, of course, about the being open and all, but it's about protecting the individual's rights. That should be the most important thing. And you look at the U.S. Constitution, you look at any Western democracy, it's based on that. It needs these like individual rights, and these SJWs and so-called progressives, and I hate calling them that, but they love that term, so let them have it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
These people want that. You know, they want these terms if they don't actually know what they stand for. So.
Well, the thing is that what I don't like about them especially is I could deal with the identity politics, like the calling people whatever, but this is what they do. They think if you're black or a woman and you don't support their movement, their group, their ideology, you're a racist, you're an Uncle Tom, my girlfriend got attacked yesterday by family members because she wasn't so upset Trump won. She didn't like Hillary, and they said that she didn't care about her own gender, as if she has to think all day about being a woman and think about women as a collective group. Like when I get up in the morning, I don't know about you, I don't think about men as a group and how I have to represent men.
Because we're not a group. Gender cannot be that big a group. It's just ridiculous to assume that it can be.
Well, it's more sexist to women because it takes away the idea that they're individuals with their own thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing from this Trump victory, the worst, and it's the Lil Wayne's a reflection of this, and it was leading up to this. And I think this led to this election happening the way it did was these people, there was the media, criticizing a black man that's a rapper successful with the majority white following, and they're on there trying to get him to say there's racism and he won't do it, that pissed people off, and not the way they wanted it to piss people off.
Yeah.
It pissed off people like us who were like, why are you trying to get this guy to talk about racism so much when he doesn't want to talk about it?
Well, what pissed me off so much about it is that, you know, these people like just stopped liking his music, or they thought, oh, you can't respect him at all now. Like, why not? Did you really need him to be on your side on this issue to like his music?
Well, your issue doesn't have a lot of credence to me. It doesn't have a lot of weight to it if you just throw out. I mean, that's what the SJWs do. It's like what Smugly Puff was. You know, now that we know Smugly Puff got arrested and attacked someone else,
Lovely.
It shows how vapid they are. Like they'll be like, hey, we care about black people, and then when a black person doesn't agree with them, they get mad about it.
Yeah, they think black people are a collective, they're this group. They're not. They can never be. It's just that a race, gender, ethnic group cannot be the entire group because it's just too big to be one. Right? Opinions vary from like married couples. It's two fucking people. Their opinions differ. How can you expect an entire group of thousands and millions of people to get along on everything? That's ridiculous to assume that's even possible.
Well, I think that's what the problem was, is they thought that because they had that minority vote, I think they thought that because they thought they had black people and gay people and women in their pocket, that they were just going to defeat Trump, and they totally forgot about the white middle-class American that was so against Hillary and the establishment this whole time, and they did not recognize that threat. Even back in the Bernie Sanders campaign, they never acknowledged the threat of the anti-establishment. Even if Trump is the establishment in a sense, because he's a businessman and successful, he's not the political establishment in a regular sense. And that's what people wanted. They wanted to destroy, basically, in a lot of ways. I mean, this was the death of the Obama administration. I mean, this really was the like nail in the coffin. Like, I mean, the Republicans taking over everything really was kind of like crazy.
Even if like the Republicans don't see Trump as 100% them. Right?
Yeah.
He's still like these old GOP elite. They don't like him still. He's scary to them, right?
Yeah.
Just like Bernie would have been scary to the Democrat establishment. Like he wants to take away our corporate funding, and like he wants to, make us have like all these policies that are going to hurt our donors, right? Like that's scary to them, right? And Trump saying all these things and being the way he is, and he's saying like the whole like his stance against NAFTA and TPP. Like, these are things that are going to hurt GOP donors. Right? Mm-hmm. He's scary to them, right?
Well, and also that's the thing I don't get. People are acting like Trump winning means that like the country's going to automatically go to this like idea of this radical Republican type environment because Trump and the Republicans are going to work together and take away gay marriage and take away the rights of people. And I honestly, I just don't think any of those things are going to happen.
Yeah, because
at all.
You look at Trump. I mean, I don't know if you caught this, but his victory speech was the first speech since 1984 that did not end with "In God Bless America." What does that tell you?
I don't think Trump's ever fallen back on the religious thing, and I love him for it. I'll give him that more than anything, is he does not use religion much at all as a push.
I think look at like the Cruz thing and even Rubio to a certain degree. He was like. The GOP didn't vote for those candidates because they're tired of them. Ted Cruz, no one likes the guy, right? Mm-hmm. Marco Rubio, no one likes the guy. They're just too cringy and awkward, and that their issues are like things that America's moved on from, right? This country may be majority Christian, but that's not what the GOP, I think, really wants. The GOP's base really wants.
Well, gay issues are done. I mean, we really need to accept that. They are.
I think Trump understands. I think Democrats mostly accept that, except for Clinton, because she was like the last to fucking get on the fucking train with this thing, right? Back when that was an issue, during the 2008 primary when she was, for neither was Obama until later on, but it's just like she was so late coming to the party. And you look at fucking Bernie, he was like I think in Burlington he signed the first gay rights parade in U.S. history. He made it law in Burlington. Like, that goes to show you how far ahead people are, right?
Yeah. Well, I need to explain something to people here that listen to this that might be gay, because I know I had some subscribers that were gay, and they told me that, they wanted me to know the distinction between radical people that are in the LGBT community and them. And I was like, listen, I don't care what you are or associate with. It's just like, you guys understand, just because Trump may have said some things that were insulting to gays, if he did, or if he did do something that offended you, that doesn't make the man the homophobe you may think he is based off the media, and that doesn't mean he's automatically going to take rights away from homosexuals,
Yeah, because
or that
go ahead.
or that's even going to get passed through Congress or any of those things are just going to happen, you know.
I mean, people I think made Trump out like he's going to be this god emperor that can just change laws with the snap of his finger. Like, no. Like, if you were really upset that he won this, why weren't you upset when the Democrats lost the Senate in 2014, right? You have to care about every fucking election, midterm or actual election. You have to care about them all. Because that's where your real policy comes from, is your Senate and your House races. They aren't as flashy and as big in your face, but they're still important.
Well, also this showed a couple things that's crazy. This showed that, I mean, I would have, if you would have asked me a year ago about the Republican Party, I would have said it's dead. I mean, I would have told you, I'd have said the Republican Party probably won't be around in a few years. I thought that I mean, I really did. I thought the left had just taken over entirely. And man, this just showed that, like, fuck, people really didn't care what the political party was. It was really, I mean, I don't think people get this. This was like a protest vote. I think people are misinterpreting it as people who all voted for Trump are all Trump supporters. Because the hypocrisy of the left is that I remember they were all saying that there was a difference between supporting Hillary Clinton and voting for her. And their whole argument is that Trump was so bad that morally we had to vote for Hillary despite what was bad about her. Then when Trump people voted for Trump because they had issues with Hillary, for some reason that logic doesn't work with them now.
Well,
they don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, these people just, the vote, you can vote for whatever reason you want to, and I think people voted for Trump for two reasons, right? They didn't like Hillary, or they agreed with him, right?
I think the main reason was Hillary, and I don't think people want to say that. They want to assume it was Trump support, and I think it was legitimately a horrible candidate.
Yeah, she's easily one of the worst candidates. Both of them, just two of the worst candidates in U.S. history. No matter who won this, I think we were going to be like, it would have been like our eye rolling. Okay, well, this is our next 4 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people would have been acting so crazy at Hillary won like some of the people are acting.
Like you were saying before we started recording, it would have been a big talking point for us tonight. It would have just been, oh, well, she won. I mean, we all kind of knew that.
We probably wouldn't even talked about it. We probably wouldn't even went in depth about it at all. Like a little bit.
We just mentioned it, but we wouldn't have this big this discussion on it because no one saw this coming, right?
It's the biggest upset I've seen in my life. I mean, I can't think of anything like this ever happening since I've been. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember Bill Clinton beating George H. Bush when I was real little, and that was a big deal. But now this is like, I mean, an outsider to the whole political system, a guy that's not a lawyer, like a reality TV show star.
Yeah, I mean, he was on The Apprentice. He had that. I think he was on WWE. I forget which one he was on, but he was
Home Alone 2.
Yeah, talking about like this man who has no political experience. He may have experience running a business, running a few of them pretty poorly, but at the same time, he represents, I think, an idea and just a fatigue the American people have for establishment politics. All right, you look at Brexit, a few months ago, and it's still going on today, of course. Just people were tired of it. The EU wasn't helping Britain out any. They were scared of the future of the European Union, so they left. They thought that was a more secure future, Britain being by itself, right, being its own country. Of course, it can still be part of Europe, right? It's going to have allies with the United States and Canada and such, but that vote wasn't because people hated European values. It was because they just weren't sure about Europe anymore. And they would have rather have been their own country. Would have rather have been no union part of it, just the United Kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Trump is to me too. He's this. People did not want Clinton, and we gave him a chance with Bernie. Like, okay, you don't want Clinton. Well, here's a decent candidate. Here's a really good candidate, right? Okay, you don't pick her. Well, we're going to give you Trump then.
Well, you tapped into something there that I think is an even bigger issue when you talked about how the Brexit happened because they didn't want to be part of the European Union and the government there. Hillary and Obama really were pushing this big one world government type thing with that European Union. I mean, they really wanted these the programs. I mean, Obama talked to the UN about this. He talked about giving up some of our freedoms for national laws, international laws that would suit better for everyone. I mean, it seemed to me that it was going that they were trying to. I mean, I don't know if I buy into the whole thing that Hillary was going to go to a war with Russia with the no-fly zone thing. Although it was weird.
To me, that just seemed like it was fear mongering from the right. They
Yeah,
just wanted you to be scared that she was gonna start war with Russia. No, I don't think so either.
well, I want people to get this listening to this podcast. Like, we're not biased here. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, and I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. So I'm not saying one's worse or better. Like if you're upset that Donald Trump won, okay, that's fine, and if you're happy won, that's fine. Like I don't care. Like I'm just saying, don't be an asshole. But we have to look at how this happened. This election, this particular one, is going to be studied years from now in political science classes, and they're going to try to figure out how this happened.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be studied by the right professors, and the other one's going to go, "Yeah, see, racism won here. Racism won." Right.
God, I hate how right you are. Like I said that, and then you said that, and you're fucking dead on about that. There's no doubt that the kind of liberal professor that you're talking about would tell them that this was just a sign of white supremacy in the white people trying to take over the country again.
It's a sign of internal oppression.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. We vote for Obama. We vote for Obama in 2008 in record numbers. We vote for him again in 2012. Trump wins. Very close race.
Yeah.
At a lot of the states. I mean, Trump I think he kind of won big if you just count the electoral votes. But
yeah,
all the state.
It was a landslide in the electoral college. It was a landslide.
All the states were close though, right? Like
pretty
percentage.
Much. Even like Texas was like, which is deep red, was like I think it was 51 to like 45. Don't quote me on that, but it was like closer than it should have been.
Well, it was crazy for me. I live in Pennsylvania, and I was out that day, and I went and voted Gary Johnson because, I'll just say I'm a libertarian, and that's kind of the party I've been associating with this whole election because I've just become sick of both major parties, especially after WikiLeaks and the DNC stuff. Like, I have no respect for the Democrats or the Republican Party at this point.
Yeah, they have to do some soul searching. They have to earn that vote again.
Well, I felt like the Democrats really betrayed liberalism and progress. I feel like the Republicans completely betrayed conservatism. I don't think there's been a conservative person in the Republican Party for a long time.
Well, yeah, you've had like neocons, you've had like new conservatives, you've had conservatives that focus on like Jesus and family and whatever. Conservatism, not that.
They don't focus on the Constitution and the amendments, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, those things that people really. And I want somebody to come and talk about all of the Constitution and why it's an important document and why I wanted this election. I wanted us to talk about the morality of America and how we needed to go back to a different kind of. Not the idea that we needed to be less sexual or less promiscuous. I don't think that, but I think we needed to have more respect for privacy with each other again and respect between each other. I felt like the only thing Stephen Colbert said in that speech he gave, which I thought was an interesting point, because I'm not the biggest Stephen Colbert fan, but he made a point there when he said that we consumed this election too much. It's kind of like junk food.
Yeah, it was like a poison.
Yeah, it was a poison, and it's fun for a little while, but then it's too much after a point, and then you end up like this, where he's sitting there devastated that Trump won, and he only has himself to blame. And I think that speech reflected that, honestly. I felt like that was this very self-deprecating speech he gave, and that's why I liked it, because it wasn't him trying to build himself up. He was basically saying, okay, well, we kind of fucked up. We didn't really look at this right. And maybe next election... I think he's basically talking to the SJWs in a lot of ways. Like, don't be so emotional during these elections because...
I got on Twitter and just saw all these people just like, I voted for Clinton, got choked up there. Like, why? Calm down, dude. You just voted for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Jill Stein. I didn't get choked up. She's a woman, too, but she's the right woman. That's it.
And she never brought up being a woman as far as I know.
See, the thing about Jill Stein is, I know you were getting about this with the libertarian thing. I didn't support her through the entire election. She wasn't my big candidate. Even I don't like everything she said. I just thought I would vote for her just because why not? I was
sick of getting shamed about third party voting. I think people are still being assholes because it helped Trump out.
Oh, didn't you know it's our fault? It's our fault that they lost, right? Not that Clinton's a bad candidate. It's our fault.
it's the Bernie or bust people's fault because they didn't want to vote for that candidate they
What
never liked in the first place.
what part of bust didn't you understand? That's my
Well,
response to that.
the DNC, I mean, I'm not because I'm not Democrat or Republican, so anyone who listens to this it could be like, hey, you guys, you're alt right and you hate. It's like, listen, I'm not either one of the. I'm like, if you had to be honest, I probably lean more towards a liberal mindset, but that doesn't mean I have to be okay with the Democrat politics and this bullshit that's been going on for like. I don't want to say the last 8 years, but particularly the last 2 to 3 years, I think there's been a lot of shitty stuff coming from the Obama administration. I think he's let too many things slide
Yeah,
with people. I think he let well, like let's look at Ferguson or those things that happened, right? Before the news even fully came out, he would go on TV and talk about it like racism was rampant in America again. And then he comes out and he tells people, think about the facts. Let's look. I mean, it seemed like he was just trying to say what he thought his base wanted him to say. And at that point, I felt like he quit being Obama, where he was just telling it like it is, and he started telling people what they wanted to hear. And I felt like the last few years have really just been a disservice to uh, what the Democrats wanted with him when they voted him in, especially what I wanted when I
yeah.
voted him in.
I can agree with that. Like, to me, when his last couple of years, really, since like I guess Trayvon Martin and on, were just like he couldn't decide what he wanted to be. I mean, you even look at like who he appointed to different like seats. It was like he'd appointed a Republican into the FBI director. I mean, that's told me is a big problem with him now because he appointed one that may have tried to swing the election towards Trump, right? Well, then why the fuck did you pick a fucking Republican for the FBI director? That's what I want to know. And all these different like judges, he'd always recommend that like these are Republicans, these are like these are right leaning. People didn't vote you in to like pick like right wing people. They voted you in because you were a liberal. Why aren't you picking only Democrats or only liberals, right? Why aren't you picking like Republicans here and there? Are you trying to be too moderate? Make up your damn mind.
Well, he even did that this election where 8 years ago he said Hillary Clinton was like terrible and you shouldn't vote for her, and then now he's saying she's qualified and amazing, and it's like, dude, uh, like you're a good speaker, but you can't like people remember what you said 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember just like the betrayal people felt after like his first 4 years weren't what they all were cracked up to be.
yeah,
I remember that betrayal and like people kind of used that against Bernie in a way, but it's like, see, the thing is regardless of what you think Bernie was going to accomplish or not, like Obama never suggested these type of things, right? Because
yeah,
Obama, I think Bernie he's seen the college kids, he's seen the people who can't afford health care, right, and who aren't happy with Obamacare. I mean, Obamacare is basically like for car insurance. If you get pulled over, you don't have car insurance, you get fined, right? If you don't have
mm-hmm,
health insurance, you get fined now. That's all it is. It's just a requirement, right? And it's
mm-hmm,
bullshit the way you get punished for it, right?
yeah.
And Bernie saw all that, and he just wanted to go after it, regardless if he could accomplish it or not. You can't get so mad at him for trying, right? Because what was Clinton going to do? Keep the same shit in power, keep the same ideas going on, right?
Yeah.
That's why people didn't like her. That and because she's two-faced, right? But that goes without saying.
I'll say a couple things here. I think the two biggest detriments to the Hillary Clinton campaign, I think these are the two biggest mistakes they made. And I think this is going to go back to this narrative they said was a goddamn conspiracy theory, but I don't think it is. Um, I'm not saying she's sick and dying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying she's an old lady, and that became very clear this election. Hillary Clinton seemed like she aged. I mean, she basically did age 10 years since last election.
Yeah, she's not invincible.
And she really, to me, in the debates, which I think people were very biased post them, were acting like she decimated Trump. I felt like in those debates she came off very old, and she didn't know how to talk about technology, and she didn't seem like she had a plan. And she came off, I don't know, she didn't seem that sharp. She seemed to kind of lost a step from what I remember Hillary Clinton being like. She didn't seem as forceful, and I think I don't know. I think people saw Trump kind of alpha male her in it. It was like what Obama did with her. She's not a very tough competitor. And they're going to say it's because she's a woman, but it's just because Hillary isn't very believable as a tough, strong woman against this man in a debate. I mean, she didn't even show up to concede.
Yeah,
Um,
until today, right? It was the day after.
yeah, and I almost feel like it's because she was in a room crying somewhere. And I know people are going to say that second, but that's what I feel was going on. She didn't want to walk out crying or something. Because it makes no sense you'd have people stand out there all day for hours
Yeah,
and you
that
don't
to
not
me,
say.
like her support. That's like a not so much like like she was cowardice to lose to Trump, right? And it's just that she couldn't face her supporters. Right?
Yeah.
Think about like when Bernie walked out and endorsed her. Think about how people like I felt, or people like any of the other supporters felt. Like that was a hit to our heart, right? It was like just a fucking thud.
Well, they shamed you for that too. They shamed people. They shamed Trump for it when he said he wasn't going to endorse Hillary, and then she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about this. She told. I remember when the Bernie people, they told all of them, you have to vote Hillary because you don't want Trump. You have to vote Hillary because you don't want Trump. And then when that didn't work, they're all like, okay, well you just have to vote Hillary now because Trump's so bad. He hates women. And then that didn't work. And it's like, did you guys ever have an actual game plan? Like Bernie was about policy. It felt like they were all about this weird social issue thing because it felt like the Democratic Party. I think they thought the SJW thing was way more prominent in this country than it was, and it's really only prominent what it seems to be with young liberal college kids and certain demographics.
Yeah.
It is not hitting with the mainstream populace of America. It's not hitting with the older demographics. I know they're saying the people that don't have college educations are uneducated. That doesn't mean you're any less intelligent. I mean, I don't have.
You can get a college degree and still be a complete idiot.
Well, I don't have a degree, but I got into college. I wasn't an idiot. Like I mean, some people just don't. There was no interest for me after a point. I didn't have interest. I didn't fail out. I wasn't like dumb and didn't. A lot of people just college. It's really capitalism. Like the Steve Jobs out there, the people that make the most money. It doesn't really matter what your education background is a lot of the time. And yeah, I've met dumb people. I mean, if we're going off that logic, then George W. Bush can never get criticized again because he graduated from Harvard. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's a lot of it's, the money you have, a lot of it's connections you have, a lot of it's. I mean, if more people could afford to go to college, I'm sure more people would go. I think the problem was a lot what Democrats did is and I know people are going to say this as Republicans. I think it was both to blame. I think the Democrats, where they really disserved college kids, was they created too many useless programs like those gender study classes that they just kept around for social reasons. And they kept pushing things like sociology and psychology, which I'm not against, but they kind of stopped trying to focus on science and the actual medical stuff, the doctors and the stuff we need. And I just feel like there's all these pools now and all these. I mean, like they're trying to turn colleges into like retirement homes or something. Like it's fucking. And
I can understand why they do that, and it's because colleges get too much money. The school I went to they had just built another dorm. Right, my freshman year, they had just finished building a dorm. And 2 years before that, they had just built one already. All right, they built one that was in honor of their 100-year anniversary. Like, okay, I get that, but all these like dorms are like new. You have like I think it was like 4 old dorms. You had like 10 on campus. You have like 10 or 11 on campus. Why do you need that many? All right.
Fair point.
It's like, okay, if you're gonna like spend this money on dorms, you're gonna spend this money on all that. Why don't you spend this money on not making our fucking tuition so expensive, right? Why don't you spend this money on I don't know, better fucking food in the cafeteria? The food there tasted just like cardboard half the time.
It's true.
It had no taste or no punch to it. Why don't you spend more money on that? That stuff, you kids need good food. They need to be full when they eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids do need a good place to sleep, have a good roof over their head, but shit, like, quit building fucking dorms everywhere. You don't need this many. You don't. You don't have that big a fucking campus, right?
I have this whole theory, and I know, I mean, a lot of my friends don't 100% agree with me because they may be a little bit more on the left than me on some things, but I feel like we need less, like, I don't like this idea that everyone should be in college and everyone should be, because, like, I don't want to be this way. Some people are just kind of, not dumb, and some people, it's just not, college isn't something I think everyone should do. I don't think it's, like, a requirement that everyone, I think there should be a better education system, but I feel like with the internet now, and how you can pretty much learn anything now. I mean, pretty much everything I do now, my editing, like my video up, everything that I do that makes me any kind of income, learned the majority of it off the internet. I really didn't learn any of it in an academic setting. And I think we're seeing that distinction now in the world because degrees are meaning less and less as time is going on. And we're seeing that, like, I mean, a degree doesn't guarantee you a job now.
I guess it never really did. But you look at all these art programs, right? I mean, in a way, both of us are artists, right? For this whole
of course.
YouTube thing. And even like, think about filmmakers, right? You don't need a degree in filmmaking to be a filmmaker. All that is just kind of wasting money that you could spend on making a film, on making a feature, buying a new camera, right? That's money could be spent so much better, right?
You're dead on. I mean,
And
that's
like,
what I did. You're dead on.
why do you need an art degree to draw? Why do you need an art degree to sculpt or have these avant-garde fucking monoliths of trash that modern art is, right? Why do you need a degree to do that? 'Cause you don't.
Well, that's my thing. I always tell people, like, there's so many things that people think, like me, like, yeah, I've been doing stuff for like 10, 11 years, the filmmaking stuff, and I know how to shoot stuff pretty well with the camera, and I know a lot about it, and like, yeah, I mean, all the stuff I do, that's just the stuff they teach you in film school, except when you do it yourself, it's a lot more hands-on, and you learn I mean, you basically don't waste that time with the gen eds they're going to make you take,
I mean, there's a lot of I think with school you get a lot of like hands-on. You get hands-on, sure, but not like you would in real life. But you get like you know the right way to do a camera setup. But at the same time, why don't I need to go to school to write a screenplay? I know how to write. I know how to spell shit mostly. You know how to do all that. Like, why do you need a degree for that?
I don't think you can teach art traditionally. Like, I don't think you can teach someone to be an artist. Like, I don't think you can teach someone how to make a good movie. I don't think you could teach someone how to, like, be a good writer. I think, like, you either have those things or you don't, and you can get better at it with practice and a little bit of teaching.
Yeah, I mean, you have to spend more time doing it, and that can people get kind of discouraged with that. Well, I'm like, okay, sure, but think of all that money you're saving. Think of all that money you can later put towards a film, right?
Well, school's just there to try and give you some kind of structure, and a lot of time that
Yeah.
structure gets you in a mindset that can fuck up your actual
Absolutely.
progress and creativity. And it's happened to a lot of my friends who were English majors or writers or film majors or journalists or something. They would go there and then they would get out and then they couldn't adapt outside of the academic setting of these things because they were so used to doing tests and doing what the teacher wanted. And and that's I mean, when you have the person dictating your art above you, like a producer, and it's somebody doing it in an academic setting, they're trying to tell you like this is how things are supposed to be done this way. I don't like it. I don't like that we have these rules you have to obey. I think the whole idea with that stuff is that you don't follow the rules. And I mean, I don't follow a lot of basic rules on a lot of things a lot of the time, and I choose to not obey those rules because I don't want to do them.
Yeah.
Traditionally.
I mean, getting off topic a little bit. Back when I was first learning about screenwriting, like people say they'll get like these hints about what to do, and a lot of them are just like what programs you should use, how you should structure it, which is that's all standard advice. You have to follow those are actual rules that are important. But then one of them was like, don't write about suicide or depression. And my reaction was why? Why not? And his response, I didn't ask him, but someone did in the comments or the thread. I was like, why? Why that? All these are pretty good, but why that one? And then one of them was like, because I go to art school and all these people just like all these little edgy kids just write about that. So what? These movies aren't going to get made into screenplays. They're not going to get made into films. They're just practice screenplays. Why not? Right? Just because someone in your class is ruining it for you does not mean that somewhere on down the line someone will write a really good screenplay that involves those two topics.
Well, I've been doing YouTube like 10 years off and on, and I mean, I just now started having some kind of little bit of success just now, really, like with the following, and that's because I failed so many times that I kind of got a sense of what I had to do and what was working. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, people could come on me, because I've got it a couple times in the comments. People are like, well, why do you always just do the SJD? Because some people criticize channels like ours because they say we just get hits and we just try to do it off talking shit about people, and it's like, well, I'd half get what you were saying, but it's really I don't know why that's necessarily a bad thing. Like I think it's entertaining to watch people break down shitty arguments and videos and stuff.
YouTube has this big platform for whatever you want. No matter how niche it is, you can find some success in it.
And and people have told me like they say it's like they'll tell me in some of my videos like it's below you, or you seem to just want to follow these SJW stereotypes and they don't get the satire stuff of the patriarchy. But I just want to be like, well, hey man, like I did other stuff, it didn't work. I mean, I don't tell people I tried to do other things, it didn't get hits, it didn't get the traffic. The stuff that got the traffic was when I bitched about SJWs. I mean, so that's where I went. because
Yeah.
that's where people wanted me to go. But that to me, that's I had to quit being selfish. A lot of people that are artists that I've been friends with, that I've even worked with, their biggest issue was that they had too much of an idea of their ego, of their art. They thought it was so much better than everything else. They were never willing to compromise to get people to like your stuff. Like they thought they were too good to
Yeah,
be popular in a
there's
sense.
there's a balance between you have to make the content that you like and what people are going to watch,
Yes.
and that's the balance that so many people just can't quite swallow.
Well, you either turn into a leafy and you just make your content completely for clicks, or you're somebody who you're like a clown, like you said, where you take so long to make a video because you want it to be, and then that hurts you too because you don't update your stuff a lot, and then we kind of forget about your shit.
Yeah,
Like it's hard to
I mean,
consistently watch your stuff.
I thought Colossal just like disappeared, and then I went to his channel. Oh, he's still here. He just hasn't
No,
made a
I
video
mean,
in a while.
if it wasn't for Baited, yeah, I mean, he would have been for months. He would have been doing nothing. And I try to, yeah, I like making fun of SJWs. That was always, I mean, my channel always had kind of a social commentary, but it was always more humorous. Like it was more about movies too. And I thought I would get like the movie buff, geek community who like comic books and stuff. And I couldn't get that audience. What I ended up getting was a lot of like the MRAs, MGTOW guys. Um, and oddly enough, I've got a base of women recently that were, talking to me on some of my videos
Yeah,
about,
you see, those women have internalized depression, so.
yeah, internalized misogyny.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so weird because this Trump election, I mean, I don't know who's the main person to blame. I don't know if it was all Clinton. I don't know if it was some of what Trump did. I don't know if it was the media. I don't know if it was all of the factors coming together that just made this happen. It's just fucking crazy, though. I mean, like, I would have probably bet money on him losing.
Yeah, well, see, me and a friend had a bet at work, and he no longer works there. But me and a friend had a bet at work that
Before you finish, he's talking about the place he works at, the Rainbow Club. It's a gay strip club
yes,
down.
the gay strip club downtown where all the gays hang out.
Yeah.
If you don't hang out there, you hate you hate homosexuals. Sorry. Anyway, that joke was ruined.
They ask you at the door if you voted Trump or not, if they let you in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what if like you are gay and you voted for Trump? I mean, you may like his style, you may like his just attitude and his swagger, right? Is that like a problem?
Well, you're Milo Yiannopoulos
What if
then.
you're
You're
like,
Milo.
what if you're like Filthy Frank and made a song about Donald Trump and wanting to fuck him, right? It's homophobic? You don't like that song now. You understand that, right? He's gay. He likes Trump. That's homophobic. Check your privilege. Um, we made a bet at work that I bet that Trump was going to win. This is back during like the
Primaries?
well, not right after like the convention. That's what I couldn't say. The convention when she had a chance of losing at that point. All right,
Oh, yeah.
I think 538 had her at like a 50-59 chance of losing, right?
Yeah.
Of course, she ended up losing at 74% chance of winning, but whatever. And I bet that he was going to be our next president. He thought that was such a good bet. That, I'm going to make money off this bet. I just want to. I texted him this morning like, "Hey, where's my fucking money, dude?"
I mean, it really is something where, like, I wish I would have fucking bet on this. Like, this really, I mean, this is one of those things where, like, holy shit. I mean, my analogy last night was, like, this was like when the Giants beat the Patriots
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl with the perfect season. Like, nobody thought it would happen. Everybody doubted it. And then Eli Manning showed up and somehow beat the establishment. Because that's kind of what Tom Brady is in the football sense, like the Patriots. That's why a lot of people hate them, because they won a lot and they were the established team, the franchise, and then they got beat by the New York Giants, the underdog. Trump was the underdog, and people love underdogs. And this election, because of Hillary's choices and the Democratic Party, they made it look like a vote for Trump was a protest vote against the decisions of the Democratic Party.
America loves an underdog, right? I just wish they would have loved an underdog back in fucking March and April.
I mean, to be fair, the Democratic Party never really gave a chance to Bernie on the platforms.
I mean, they didn't. Not that they just didn't give him a chance. They rigged it against him. They weren't going to let him win.
Well, I hate newspapers like the New York Times. They would write a bad Bernie article all the time that was just a lot of spin pieces, and they talk about Hillary. And then once once the primaries are over, then they started doing the same shit. And it's just blowing up in their faces. I looked at the New York Times last night, and they had a 85% Hillary Clinton projection of winning. And now every article they've written today is hinting And it was the reason I was watching last night for any joy was just to see the people on CNN and MSNBC just lose their fucking minds. It was the most fun thing since like wrestling in the 90s. I mean, it was this thing where like if you watch the clips, which I'm sure this is going to be YouTube the next few days, is people going to be commenting and editing clips together from these news channels of how they were acting when Trump started winning. Because it started off early and they were so trying to push it that Hillary was winning. And then when it came in clear that the numbers were leaning towards Trump, it's like they kept coming over and like, well, these numbers over here in this little corner with votes, if they come to Detroit, that'll win this. And then none of that happened. And it was like a point where they all started looking at each other. It was very hostile. There was a lot of they would bring in somebody that was a Trump supporter and they would be very hostile and argumentative with them. I mean, it happened on all of the left-leaning networks last night, the news networks.
I remember back in the primaries, Van Jones, who unfortunately he's a bit regressive about some things. He's the guy, if you read on Twitter last night, who said the whole white lashing thing. It was him. But during the primaries, he was a pretty vocal Bernie supporter, and CNN.
Oh, you talk about the black gentleman?
Yeah, Van Jones. He's a black
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I know you're talking.
He
Yes.
was super like he's a big Bernie guy. He was like the only guy on CNN. He was like, we're gonna throw this guy in here. He's a Bernie supporter. He's gonna be easy to just push over, and he wasn't. He was like actively like would argue against these people and would just make their lives hell, right? And they would just like pat him on the back when Bernie won, like, oh, Bernie won, fuck you. That's what it was, right? Even back then, they would just berate people for not being for Clinton, and it blew up on their face last night. Blew up all over their face.
Yeah, I wish he hadn't said that whitewashing comment last night. I thought that was a really bad choice of words.
Oh, it was white lashing, not washing, lashing.
Oh,
Because
lashing.
that makes it worse. Though lashing sounds much worse.
No, you're right. Whitewashing would have been a better phrase. No, white lashing is well. It's just not. I don't. It's not like I'm not willing to hear that point of view.
Yeah.
But I just think it sounds so ridiculous and a bias, and like the fact that it's a black guy saying it that way and that against it all seems too like it doesn't matter he's black, but the way he was trying to say it, like he was trying to say we were having progress in this country, and then all the white people came out to vote and stop it, and I think that totally misses the point of why Trump won. It's like he can't realize they can't accept why they lost was due to thinking that because you were a Trump supporter or just because you weren't a Hillary supporter, you were a racist that's where they messed up. Trump never criticized people from what I know if you really didn't like him as a nominee. He just criticized groups and ideas. But during election time, Trump wasn't saying don't vote for me, you're deplorable. He was saying, Hillary Clinton's let you down. The Democrats have let you down. Come join my party. Come join my party. I mean, he said all the right things. I know people thought they were stupid things to say. It's what people wanted to hear.
Yeah, he said some stupid things here and there, but I think what Trump was so likable on was that there's an authenticity with him, right? He was somewhat authentic. If he said stupid things or said it a certain way, that's him being real, quote unquote, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what people liked about Bernie was you could tell Bernie was actually in the shit of it, right? He grew up in a poor family. His parents weren't wealthy. They had no dreams of him being in the position that he was at so many years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people liked that about Bernie, right? But of course, people wanted her over him because, well, she's a brand name, she's the establishment. But I'm just repeating myself at this point.
No, well, it's tough it's tough for me to even talk about some of these things on this cast because last night when I was watching this, because I stayed up till, this was nuts. I started watching it. I left my girlfriend's house. I started watching it at like 9, maybe 8 even. And I was up till 4 in the morning before I even went downstairs to go to bed. And I didn't go to sleep till 8:30. And then I had to get up at like 3 to have friends come over. And that's the entire time, last night, this whole day. This is the only conversation I've been having. I've never seen an election like this. This thing is fucking crazy. I have so many friends who haven't slept for like a couple. I'm not the only one. I talked to a lot of people last night that were up for like 20 hours like me. And it was all because we just couldn't. It was so, this really did. For better or worse, this did change the world in a big way. This was a huge, major political movement in American politics.
It's like I was saying earlier with the whole Brexit thing, or Brexit, I can't ever pronounce it right.
Brexit, yeah.
Sorry. With Brexit, is that people were tired of it. They didn't want to be part of it anymore, and that was a big push, right? That was a big fuck you, right? This was an even bigger fuck you, right? Regardless if Trump is qualified or not, he was the opposite of what the past 8 years, past 16 years, even under George W. was, right? Was people did want the same shit over and over and over again, right? So
Yeah.
he wasn't like he was a racist. People voted for him because he's grabbed by the pussy, right? Whatever the fuck you want to say, right? It wasn't that. He was the antithesis. He was the option. He was the opposition to the past 16 years, and even beyond that.
Well, let's even go deeper than that because, you remember the reasonable questions for anti-SJWs video series that was everywhere.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, their whole argument was that we called them SJW and cuck and all that and these pejoratives, and that they lost this meaning. These people are so dumb that they don't realize that the fact that they have ruined the terms racism and sexism and all these things that used to be really serious fucking things to say just 10 years ago were serious things. You say these things now about a guy like Trump, and even if you had some credence, no one's going to listen to you anymore because you people have completely devalued the meaning of those words. Calling someone racist in America today means absolutely shit to me anymore. It means nothing. It means nothing.
You look at like SJW and cuck, those are terms that we have tailored towards SJWs. Like an SJW isn't just a social justice advocate, right?
Yeah, that's why I hate when people claim they want to be one. It's like, you don't get how silly that is.
We were smart enough, this community, I guess if you want to call them that, was smart enough to use a term like SJW to just mean that type of social justice advocate. To mean a certain type, not the entire advocacy of social justice, right? Just these certain people that want to take rights away to give others rights, right?
Well, I'd say me and you are both very about gay rights. We both very much support minorities. We both support women. It's not those issues. It's those people who use those issues to push their own agenda.
Yeah.
And are not good people, really. They're not good people, and they use these things under the idea that they're good people.
Yeah, and you even look at like keep going back to him, like with Bernie. He said some SJW things, right, that some people in this community would label him as an SJW. But he wasn't trying to take rights away from whites. He didn't want to demonize normality in America. He didn't want to take all this away from people. He just said maybe cops should have more accountability, right? Maybe we should stop allowing black youth to fall into prison systems, right? Maybe we should give them a fair chance. That's not social justice warrior. That's social justice advocacy, right? And maybe we should have listened to him. But no, so many of us just didn't want to hear it. He's an SJW because he says these things. No. And that's what ruined it, I think.
And I think the SJWs are to blame for that because they tried to champion Bernie when he wasn't their candidate. They tried to claim, I mean, if you went to BuzzFeed or Salon.com or Huffington Post or the Young Turks, all these awful regressive I mean, like the Young Turks are fucking awful. They were all Bernie supporters and they all acted like Bernie was their guy. And that immediately put people like me off who I liked Bernie. And then I was like, well, fuck it if these are his group, because you don't want that regressive SJW people. That just got associated with the Democratic Party this year.
You even kind of look at with Bernie. I mean, Bernie said some pretty negative things about Islam. Not just like radical. He said some pretty damning things about radical Islam and just in general, right? About how women aren't even like second class in that society. And it's because of Islam, not because of like these certain Islam. No, it's because of all Islam, right?
Yes.
That was a damning point. He said that at the point when he was already lost, right? He just said that when he was already lost, which he wanted to say that, right? It was after the Pulse shooting, I believe. So he's not an SJW, right? He may act like one and say some things that they will agree with. I think like you're talking about Young Turks, like I think to them maybe he also symbolized like the economics, right? People liked Bernie's economic policy. They liked it, right? And maybe they align with that more than say Clinton's, of course. But it wasn't the Young Turks, but there was this guy I watched. I think his name was David Pacman. He was like for Bernie all the way, but he didn't like Bernie's gun policy.
Yeah.
Because Bernie wasn't wanting to take that amendment away. He believed it was a right of all Americans to own guns.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, he couldn't, he voted for him in the primary, sure, but it wasn't a big talking point for him. He didn't like that about Bernie.
I think if we're gonna look at some issues, because you're bringing up that the Islam thing, I think what really a big cost thing this election too was that Obama and Hillary got very soft on Islam and terrorism and the struggles going on in the Middle East and Europe. They kind of ignored it, and if they didn't ignore it, they acted like it wasn't as big of a deal as we all clearly know it kind of is, just by having information.
Yeah.
And I think Trump, even if he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, which I think he probably isn't, he does come out and talk about those things like he does care about them,
Yeah.
even if he
I,
doesn't. He
I,
comes.
I think he legitimately does care about the American people. He may not care about the way that I care about it or the way that Bernie may have cared about it, but I think he does want the best for the United States, and this is just his way of doing it. And I have to respect that. Even if I don't agree with it, I have to respect it.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I don't want this to be a negative thing because so many people are going to use this as a launch pad to be like, because I'm with you guys. The next 4 years is going to be great. It's going to be like when Bush was president. The comedy sketches and the videos we're going to be able to make off this. It's just going to be fucking brilliant. Like it's just going to be, way more material than we would have got with Hillary.
Yeah.
Um,
Hillary,
but
it would have been just like a lackluster Obama. I mean, Obama was at least funny. He at least was somewhat in touch with society and
Well, the
engaged.
problem with Obama was what happened there because like Bush, you could make fun of if we're just talking comedy. Obama made a president cool again. It was really
Yeah,
hard to make fun of Obama the last
right,
8 years,
right.
like in a joking way. You could criticize Obama, but you really couldn't make fun of him. Trump's like comedy gold. I mean, like you
Yeah,
said last night, he's a meme.
yeah.
Um, he's a meme
He's
president.
a fucking Pepe, man. He's got the
Yeah,
best Pepe. He's the rarest Pepe, honestly.
he should have had Pepe be his vice president, and
Hell
then I
yeah, dude.
definitely would have voted for him.
Dude,
He would have
Pepe.
easily got my vote. That would have been if Hillary's the day. Well, let's just look at Hillary. Like every decision, I think calling the people the deplorables was a fucking awful move.
Yeah,
That was like a shotgun to the
it
head.
was just further division. All that
It
did
really.
was further division of this country, and it didn't help at all.
Well, they all kept saying the whole year that Trump was his whole goal was to divide the country, and I was so confused by that because I thought that's what the Democrats have been doing all
Yeah,
year was dividing the country. When they were saying if you don't support us, you're racist and sexist, and it was mainly white people they were saying that towards was the white male demographic, which while turned out during the voting was a very important demographic this year for
surprise,
the election.
surprise.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain this to a lot of people out there that like are more concerned with minority groups than the rest of us. The majority of people in this country are white.
Yeah,
So when you don't talk about the majority of the country during an election process like they don't exist, you're not going to win the majority vote of the. I know they're going to say, "Oh, Hillary won the popular vote." Well, that's something losers like to say when they lose. She didn't win the electorals in states that she should have easily won
yeah,
democratically, like Pennsylvania. It's like holy crap. I live in Pennsylvania. It's crazy. They haven't gone red since the '80s. I mean, this is she messed up, and I mean, sure. I mean, Trump did what Obama did. He flipped states.
yeah.
Um, and he flipped Democrat states to Republican, and he was supposed to be the most stereotypical white privileged evil male, and he still won despite that. So it either shows a complete failure on the Democrats as a campaign, or the SJW thing just became so toxic and people got so sick of it.
Well,
Um,
I,
you
I,
know,
I do agree with that, but I think what's something I had to bring up here is that you look at what Trump was saying in relation to worker, right? In relation to the working class, right? He wasn't that different from what Bernie was saying. I mean, they're both against TPP. They were both against these awful work, in general, these awful work trade agreements, right? You know,
mhm.
and Bernie may have been further left because he wanted to raise the minimum wage, but I mean, look at Trump. People are scared of our TPP and scared of NAFTA because it does hurt American jobs. It sends them to fucking Mexico or sorry, just Mexico. It doesn't send them to Canada at all. It sends them to fucking Mexico, right? That's a problem, right? It's outsourcing our jobs, right? And that's a
Mhm.
problem. TPP would have been fucking worse because it would have outsourced any Pacific lining country, right? And people were like, no, we don't want that. That's like I said. If you would have given Bernie the option, he would have been he would have won Michigan. He would have won any worker class state. Like in Pennsylvania, wouldn't have been off the table for Trump because the working class there would have gone easy Bernie, right? Because he's our liberal.
Mhm.
He's already a liberal, right? But he also is for our worker rights. So we're gonna go with him, right? Trump would have been it would have been a landslide both in popular and I think in electoral. for Bernie.
I think that would have happened too if Bernie had been the VP nominee with Hillary, that they would have got a big boost in the votership. I don't think he wanted that position.
Yeah, he did. I would have voted for him just because, like, might as well at that point. At least vote for Bernie as a VP, I guess. But it may have been a little different. Like, again, the time it's last night, what was the whole point of Warren doing what she did? What was the whole point of Elizabeth Warren not supporting Bernie through all this? Was she going for a VP? Well, clearly she's not, because Tim Kaine's her VP. What the fuck was this all about?
Let me bring this up. I have no respect at all for Elizabeth Warren. I've had issues with her before, but now I fully have settled in the fact that she's just a fucking phony. I've heard Ben Shapiro talk about her when he went to Harvard. I don't always agree with Ben Shapiro because he's very conservative sometimes, and a little too religious for my liking. But he doesn't push religion on you. But he had to get into Harvard and talk to her. She was one of his professors, and he the way he talks about her, it's like, yeah, she tries to make the face that she's doing. I mean, she really could have shook the Democratic Party this year.
Yeah,
I mean, she really could have shaped it and defined it in a new way with Bernie.
Not just been her election, because there's all this hype about her running this year, but I think she could have been the face of it, right? She could have been this new face for the Democrats. She was hype back when she won her initial election. I think in 2012, if I'm right. Whenever she won it, she won that election. She was a lot of hype going into it, right? And then with all her different bills she's tried to pass over the years, she's been a big name in the Democratic side, right? And she was silent until she endorsed Clinton. And to me, it made me she was dead to me, honestly, right? Because if you're going to say all these things, be for all these different policies and different ideologies, where the fuck were you? Where the fuck were you when it mattered? Because now
I think
you get nothing.
You're right.
You get fucking
You're right.
nothing.
I mean,
Like,
you're dead. You're dead right.
It could have been her and Bernie up there, right? Last night we could have been, celebrating fucking Sanders Warren ticket. It would have been fucking awesome, right? But no, you get nothing, and I hope you're proud of it.
Well, I think it just goes back to the idea that the Democratic Party didn't even have a plan. They clearly thought, okay, we need to give Hillary this because for some reason she's
owed it. And
that was felt the whole election. Listen, I think I won't disagree on some level. If I'm going to go a little SJW here, I'll go a little fucking SJW. Fuck the patriarchy. I'm going to lose subscribers.
Oh my God,
I'm going to lose, I just gained a bunch of subs, and they're going to go, fuck it, he's a fucking regressive in hiding. I can see that perhaps America wasn't wholly ready, in a sense, to vote in a female president. I don't think it was only just because of Hillary Clinton. I think when the Democrats, and I blame them for this, when they made it man versus women, I think men felt attacked and came out voting to oppress Hillary Clinton, saying that. I think it's just the same when they say Trump comes out and attacks women and women are offended by him. Okay, fine, cool. But they don't seem to get that men are offended by Hillary Clinton and the way she talks about us and the way she, especially with her husband's past. And she's trying to talk to us like she's some moral hierarchy, that she understands women's needs more and feminist and all that stuff, when she hasn't shown a history of that kind of behavior, and she flip-flops on issues like gay marriage. It's like, well, Hillary, I don't know what to tell you. You're not a presidential woman. It's not that you're a woman. You don't have that. I just don't think Hillary Clinton was presidential. You could say what you want about Trump, but he's like a 6'3", man that's alpha and charismatic and funny and crazy and a fucking superstar. I mean, he is a train. You can't stop. Hillary, it's like she just kind of disappeared from the media the last few months. I mean, I felt like she really cut down public appearances. I mean, don't you feel that way? I felt like she just kind of disappeared the last 2 months.
During this, the entire election, even during the primaries, she just felt like she was absent, right? She didn't need to be there because this was hers, right? She already had this. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what cost her, right? If she would have gone out there, and I know people on Vox, they're talking about how she's for the worker, right? She's listening to him, right? She's listening to him, all their problems. Listening is only good if you actually fucking do something.
Yes.
You didn't do shit.
Well, I think also, I mean, the main thing I gotta say the media had a huge influence because they gave Trump all this free press for the last year because, I mean, he could just do anything and they would cover it, and they didn't even acknowledge any other GOP candidates. And this is just fucking crazy because the media being so stunned last night and so upset about this, and it wasn't, what I loved about it is that they didn't just seem upset because they had lost, they seemed upset because they knew that they fucked up in particular. Like, it was a lot of negativity last night in, like, media conglomerates and democratic leaders. They had this feeling of like, oh, we miscalculated something here majorly, because they did. No poll predicted this. Nobody. um Michael Moore did. I saw Michael Moore talk about it because,
Fuck Michael Moore.
no, I'm not saying I like him, but he
Yeah, I
did
know,
make
I
a
know, I know.
point. Flint, because he always hangs around Flint. He said these polls are so ridiculous because he says they're not looking at these bases. He said this rural vote and all that. And he was so right. It was those rural areas that really showed up voting. And people are going to say it was uneducated white rednecks in these areas that were too stupid. The fact that you people think that about those people is why Donald Trump is now the president of the United States. Is the fact that you sit there and think because someone has a different opinion on you with two shitty candidates, and
Yeah.
they went and voted because they live in a rural area, and that somehow makes them less of a person than you. Um, you are the reason people felt bullied and felt the need to defeat this stigma that Hillary Clinton created about this white evil male, and they're just using Trump's victory as a way to push it even more. But it just shows how little voice they have, actually, that they are not the majority um, anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, it's weird. It's very weird to know that, at least politically, the social justice warrior movement is not going to be getting the support it's been getting the last few
Well,
years.
at least for now, it's not. I mean, I won't want to
Yeah,
count them out. We have to.
me,
They can't be counted out. We're gonna make videos on, dude. If they're gone, we're gonna make videos on, right?
I mean, Zarna's never going away. There's never not going to be a Milo
Oh,
Stewart or a Lacey Green.
Zarna's like she's the crown jewel now. I mean, Lacey Green, Milo, they were there, but it's Zarna's time in the spotlight.
Let's wrap up the election thing, and then let's finish this up and talk
Yeah,
a little bit about Zarna.
we're actually at the hour mark, but yeah, Zarna, she was. I still think that she's like an actor. She's
I
like,
don't. It's such a tough guess, dude. Like, it's like, I mean, like, I'm so with you. I don't know now. I'm going back and forth every day. Is she an actress? Is she crazy? Is
because
this a scheme?
to me it has to be because no one's that nuts and not been checked into a hospital already.
That's my thing. It's like, does she have a doctor or some kind of medication? I don't. It's because if it isn't that, I have to agree with you that she's acting and this is all for attention. I mean, even the video she made, I don't even know if she believes the thing she says. But you got to think about this. Those videos she made all have huge hits, and she disabled comments and likes, and
Yeah,
then everyone's making response videos, which just helps her video. She probably made money off those videos,
yeah.
and I mean, I don't know if this is propaganda and we're just fueling it by talking about it, but at the same time, she's really tried to get Humongous in trouble and fuck his life up.
Yeah.
So, and she just, she doesn't seem to care about the things she's talking about, and I agree with you that it's either some kind of performance piece thing to get money because she's trying to get money, or that. But she does, yeah. She's, like I said, she's trying to fuck up Humongous's life and spread this stuff about him, and basically like making people believe he's sexually assaulted her with, the way she structures the video. It's manipulative.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'll say about it. To me, it's either you know what an ARG is, right? An alternate
Yeah.
reality game. To me, that's what it seems like this might be for her. It has to be, right? That or she's nuts, right? It's some big ARG pointing fun at social justice ideology and talking points, and it's gonna be revealed one day, and it's gonna be hilarious, right? Or it's real and she's actually this insane. It's one of those two things to me.
My favorite thing about it is when she just uses like the random images from random websites and stuff, or random stats, and she's like, "See, this is patriarchy. See it? Here's the evidence.
It's
Google images."
fucking WikiHow. God damn.
No, she'll use like some just website
Yeah.
that, like, WikiHow, and be like, "Look, this shows that," and the WikiHow's like, "How to talk to girls," and she's like, "See how sexism works?" And it's like, what? I don't know. All of the things she pointed out, it was like, what, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is like articles out there for learning how to get laid and stuff? Why is that proof of sexism
Well,
in
it's
America?
not even like get laid. It's like okay, a 13-year-old boy looks up how to how to make girls like you. Something like kind of juvenile, but like
How to
not
approach a girl.
yeah. Is that sexist now? Duh. It's actually internalized depression,
Well,
bitch.
my favorite part of the whole video that she released is the whole premise is that nobody believed her on the humongous thing simply because of the patriarchy, not because she was in the wrong,
Yeah.
but because everyone is a white supremacist rapist. Like she says that the cops sent white supremacist rapists after me, and
Well,
that they that's so funny. I can't.
well, it's just that, like I said in the video, in like a horror movie, she's like these people that these straw men she makes out of these like the mouth shots. Those are straw men, right? That would be like the skeptic in like a horror movie involving the supernatural or whatever. Like you know how they're like, oh, these are the idiots, right? These people don't believe in this scary thing, right?
Hmm.
That's what these straw men are to her, right? And it's crazy because these fucking skeptics and these people that are like calling her out are in the right here because she's nuts.
That's what I don't get. She's there talking like the stuff she's saying is profound and deep when she has the people touch her and the dramatic music, and I'm just sitting there and I feel awkward. I'm like, this is weird shit, lady.
Yeah,
Like, you're really fucking. The stuff you say is so delusional and weird, and that like, I don't know if she's ever actually had sex with a man. It makes me. I really am like I don't. Well, it's. I've really thought about that. I don't know if she's ever had because a lot of these feminist girls. I mean, I don't want to fall back on the stereotype, but a lot of time they are those like glasses wearing, smugly puffed, bad. Like you could tell that they weren't very popular with a lot of guys.
you're
And
saying like if they got laid, this would like solve. If these women would get laid more, they wouldn't be SJWs. All right, that's what
I'd
it
say
is.
that's I'd say that the same about the basement dwellers I hate on the internet that are men. Like when you don't get that validation from the opposite sex enough, you can become toxic towards the opposite gender.
Yes, yes.
And I think women don't acknowledge that they can do that just the same that men do. Because, yeah, men bitch about women on the internet all the time, unjustifiably. I see it all the time. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But women, these feminists, I mean, the stuff they're saying about men, I'm like, are you saying this about me or your ex-boyfriend or your dad or someone you hate from your past? Because the stuff you're using to back up your argument is, quite frankly, ridiculous. And it doesn't, like, I don't know how many times we have to debunk like the wage gap or the pink like stuff that's so easily been proven to be like manipulative and wrong in the way they present it, yet they still fall back on these things all the time. I mean, like Hillary Clinton was still talking about equal pay in the debates and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, do you know what you're talking about? That's so stupid. That's not what happens.
To
It's
me,
not.
that's like a pandering thing, though, is because her and even Bernie did it too. It was just like they're pandering towards these people to get them to vote. Like if that's that one thing I need to get them to vote for. Why not? Right? Why not be that thing? Right? But
Yeah.
all I have to say on Zarna, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, is it had better be a goddamn act. It is way too funny for it not to be some like troll or some type of like act. It has to be.
Well, at the end of the year, I want to do like a top 10 SJW things of the year, like just break down every event. And I really thought Smugly Puff was going to be number one because Zarna, I thought, well, after Humongous, she's going to be in the top five. But this now has put her like very much competing for the number one spot.
Yeah.
This video series, like as I called it, it is the like I said, she made the Lord of the Rings trilogy of social justice. It's like a 3-part, 2-hour goddamn video epic of
Yeah.
her talking about the white system of white. I mean, it was fun. She even implied at one point that they lock up women in mental hospitals now if they disagree with, if they say a man sexually assaulted them, they lock them up in mental because they did it in the Victorian era, and
Did they
that
even?
was her proof.
I don't know. Like,
She seemed to just like Google things and go like, here, this article says this thing. I'm gonna put it up now. Statistics.
but that's how SJWs are. They Google the word feminist, and that's like, okay, you don't fit the definition. You must be a sexist, right? When you can be for women's rights, be for men's rights, and be this thing we call an egalitarian, but
Yeah.
that's not good enough.
Well, it's funny, like rape culture, every argument or article or video I've ever seen on it that tries to talk about it, it's always so theoretical and uses anecdotal evidence and almost never has like a really good argument to prove this idea. It just is always like, well, Brock Turner got out of prison, so thus everyone in the country supports rape. It's like, I don't wait. So that means since OJ got off, that everyone in this country is okay with killing people if you're black?
Must be. Must
I
be.
mean, is that the logic we're using here now? Because everyone forgot about the O.J. Simpson trial that hurt race relations in this country for like, I mean, God, who know? I mean, because it was a racial thing. It really was. And this isn't the first time these things have happened in this country. I mean, it's what it is. Like, it's something new. But I guess to summarize this first episode, wrap it up on is with the patriarchal bastards. We just want to be white guys defending ourselves as well. Like, we were the ones getting attacked, and it's so funny.
Yeah, exactly.
This first episode is us talking about Trump winning because we were going to do this podcast for like a week, and
Yeah.
we didn't get to do it.
I'm
And
glad we didn't at this point.
me too. But it's so funny because Trump winning last night, it was like this validation that, we weren't the only guys that felt that way. I really felt like I was forgotten about this election. I was getting so worried. I was talking to my girlfriend and my parents, and I was like, if Hillary wins, I feel like she's going to push all the social justice stuff even more, and she's going to it's just going to get worse, and they're going to make it all about sexism and for the next 4 years, and I really did. I thought it was just going to be worse. I thought Hillary was just going to cater to it all.
Yeah, I thought she was too, but we don't have to worry about it anymore. It didn't happen.
Well, we did the podcast. The whole idea when I was starting this, like, I just want to be two white guys, like, defending being white guys, like, in the sense that
nothing's wrong with being white or being a dude. Come on.
we're just people. Like, we're like I think most white guys in this country are pretty good guys. I'd say that about most guys and women in this country. It's not like America's filled with all sorts of shitty, terrible people. Like, that's just the problem. They think if you vote opposite to their political party that you're somehow a bad person. I mean, I used to be that way. I would think if you didn't vote the way I did, you were stupid. But that's like you have to get mature enough at a point to realize
It's a very childish thing, and I think in closing, I think people need to just calm the fuck down,
Yes.
grow up a little bit, take something from this election. If your guy didn't win, or your gal, I'm sorry, shit. If your candidate didn't win, I should say, take something from this election, and if that is maybe your beliefs aren't as grounded as you thought they were, maybe they need to be a little polished. Maybe if winning was more important to you, you shouldn't have brought gender into it and picked the guy from Vermont, right? Maybe if that was what it was, just rethink your life a little bit. That's my takeaway from
I'm sorry your nasty woman didn't win. Um,
it.
but that's how I've been saving this the whole time. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, I'm more happy that Hillary Clinton lost than if she had won. I mean, I wouldn't be gloating. I'm not gloating and I'm not celebrating, but it's definitely this is kind of a fuck you to a lot of the people that I hate. I mean, this is a fuck you to Lena Dunham, Amy Schumer, those Avengers video, that one that you was one of your first videos, and you made fun of all the Avengers telling you how to vote for just to vote against Donald Trump, basically. I mean, the condescension from Hollywood and the pompous attitude from the media and the elite in this country, just to see them get shut down, all these fucking asshole, like Trevor Noah types, it makes me so goddamn happy. It really does. There's something so satisfying.
It makes me happy too. It makes me. I had just a giant smile on my face when it happened, because she is crazy. Is what you can say about Donald Trump. He's morally corrupt, doesn't know what he's doing, whatever. Those may be true here and there, but she was financially corrupt in this country. She didn't. She was just going to be another establishment politician for the next 4 to 8 years, and I was so happy. Even though I thought she probably should have won, it would have been, I don't know, more stable. I don't know. I'm ultimately glad she didn't, because that means not just in like another 4 years, another Bernie Sanders would come around, but establishment lost now rather than later. The longer it was going to wait, the more ammo they were going to have, and the harder it would have been to beat them.
Well, this is more interesting. Him winning is much more interesting than Hillary interesting. It's more like we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the future right now.
It could be good, but guaranteed if Hillary would have won, either nothing would have changed or it would have gotten worse.
Yeah, I think that's what people wanted. They're ready to accept it either being bad or good, and I'm willing to not. I mean, I don't know about other people. I don't care if America's the dominant money. Like, I wouldn't care if China or Russia, if Trump wanted to work with Russia and China, like he suggests, and have a better world economy and better.
He wants to work with Russia for sure. China, I think if anyone's going to get a war with, it's probably fucking China, honestly.
Well, my hope is that once he gets in there, I really think that America in general needs to tie the fucking knot with Russia and get the fucking the propaganda both countries have on each other. We need to get over that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep on dragging this on, but you look at like our space policy, how well how well NASA gets along with the Russian space
Yeah.
agency. They're like fucking buddies. They're like the best of friends, right? Why can't our countries be that way? We don't see eye to eye on things, sure, but we don't see eye to eye on half the fucking world. Why can't we get along with Russia? If Russia's on our side again, fucking ISIS is fucked already, right? They're already done, right?
That's how I feel. I mean, Trump was the only politician speaking about Russia in a sense where he wanted to work with them, where Hillary was completely the opposite. It felt where it was like, I don't care about Russia in this situation. I mean, it's. I don't know how Trump's idea of taking the jobs from China, bringing them back here, if any of that shit will work.
It
But
won't. My guess it won't. But
no, I lean that way too. But it still seems like he's going to shake up. I don't know the world. Like he could change things. My hope is that he leads to a government that's more state by state basis and less big government influencing everything. Less regulations on small businesses, which has really, I think, affected this country's economy in ways that we haven't even heard about in this election a lot, was that the small business owner have been really fucked in this last
election
time.
wasn't even about policy. And we can't keep on going on about this, but it wasn't about policy. It was about man versus woman.
And men are better, I guess. We won.
I guess so fuck yeah, man.
Yeah. Sorry, vaginas. Sorry, pussies.
Should have been grabbed more.
Yeah, we grabbed you by the pussy and we won, and America is white again, and it's fucking weird. For the first episode of a show about being patriarchal bastards, we're talking about the patriarchal bastard, Donald Trump. So I'd say, I mean, fuck it, Trump 2016. Let's bring it in. I mean,
yeah, dude. Whoa, hell yeah, man. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, why are people being like, fuck it, like this is the time, like, okay, it's over. You guys, like, you lost. The guy I wanted to win didn't win. Fuck it. Let's move on. Trump's the president. Let's get back to the fucking YouTube videos. Let's get back to the fucking. Let's drop this election bullshit. I'm done. Let's stop fighting.
Done. D-O-N,
yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that's the thing. So the message I take this first episode is just don't fight. Everyone in the comments, if you want to leave comments, just leave fucking funny comments. What was your favorite moment about CNN's like, what was your favorite moment last night on the election? Tell me some funny posts you saw from friends on YouTube or Facebook. Like, I really, my biggest joy of this has been seeing people really, like, just be so upset about Trump. Like, it's their tears have just been fueling me.
Clearly, mine was too, but it was on Twitter for me. Just the meltdown.
Yeah, and I think, people just share your experiences with that. And if you didn't want Trump to win and you were against him, that's fine too. Like, I'm not knocking you either. Don't think that's a thing. But I guess we'll wrap this up. This is Patriarchy, also known as the Patriarchy. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and go look at my other videos. And make sure to go to Scumbag's channel, Scumbag Entertainment, which is on my channel. And you can click and go to his channel, and he has some videos uploaded already. And he'll be continuously uploading videos, and we'll be doing this podcast on a regular basis. And we'll be covering more topics in the next ones. This one, we basically had to talk about the fucking election.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was mandatory, really.
There was no way around it after Trump winning, where before we had about 4 or 5 articles we were going to cover. But now we can do that in the next episode. And do some different content. We have some really funny feminist articles or topics to talk about coming up that I think are really going to open this up. But I think for anyone who's listening, and I hope that you guys really like the show, and spread the word on this, share this so we get the word out. So we're going to keep uploading this, and you guys are hearing the ground level, the first episode. So let's try to build this little bit of a following. If you follow this podcast, I promise we will put content out regularly for you, and we will give you guys what you want in the best way we can. On an entertainment level, and I think that goes for both of us, that we're just here to try to make people entertained more than anything.
Make people not dread every fucking day, right?
Yeah, and I think a podcast from this kind of perspective, where you're not really radical in any way, or you're just a guy trying to, like, we're just trying to figure shit out, really, one way or the other. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope to everyone, if you enjoyed this or not, just leave your opinion down and just try to be polite with each other. I don't want this to be a big argument thing. I don't have a stock in this, so I don't have any cards to play. So just let's all be nice to each other. This could be a good thing if we could get over each other, our egos and stuff.
Yeah, just kidding. It's not going to be. It's going to be the same thing in 4 years. What are you talking about?
No, I'm gonna be doing Ghostbusters 2. Like, god damn it, Sony, you made it, you motherfuckers. You didn't listen the first time. I had to fucking start over again. We're gonna have to do an episode one time about that movie and like just watch
Yeah,
it or something.
we need to like do a live watch. Yeah,
Yeah, a live
'cause
stream
I
comment
haven't
there.
seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
No, that would be a pretty fun fucking. If anyone wants to hear that, let us know. But okay, well, this is Patriarchal Bastards, and until next time, all of you need to go fuck yourselves.
That was good shit. That was good shit. I like that.